All of Ursula's returns cards have been revealed, which means it's finally time to review the set. Let's take a look at the Amber cards and create a tier list. If you don't know who I am, I'm Trenton Wright. I've been playing competitive TCGs for about the last 20 years of my life. I've constantly held a legend rank in Hearthstone and placed top 16 in the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh tournament ever. Let's create an Amber card tier list.
So I tried to film this video like my other videos where I do a lot of editing and whatnot, but I came out with a hour-long video and it was going to take forever to edit, probably about 20 hours, and I just don't have 20 hours to edit videos. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this in the very lame way. I'm gonna pull these cards over and I'm just gonna take a look at them and give them some S, A, B, C, and D tier list. I'm not that good at talking, so I apologize in advance for how much I pause during when I talk and all that. I just think a lot, and it kind of makes these type of non-edited videos very hard, but we're just gonna go for it, send it, we're gonna upload it, and pray that you guys don't hate me for it. So this tier list is gonna have 5 different tiers. We're gonna have the S tier. These are absolutely broken cards. These cards are gonna be completely meta defining. You're gonna, when your opponent plays them, you're just gonna get very angry and wanna quit the game. A tier cards, these cards are very good. They're gonna be played in meta decks consistently. However, they're not gonna be like absolutely broken where you're like rage quitting, throwing your deck at your opponent type of thing. B tier, these cards are good. They're gonna be played in your meta deck, but they're not just gonna be like absolutely broken. They're not gonna be defining the meta or defining the set in any way. You're not gonna really think twice about it when your opponent plays. You're just like, oh, okay, good card. C tier, these cards are like relatively bad. They shouldn't go in your deck. There'll probably be like a few niche situations where somebody would play these cards. They're not so bad that they're unplayable, but you probably won't be playing them. And then D tier, these cards are just bad. If they're in your deck, you're probably playing some sort of jank. You're probably a little kid. Like, there's really no reason to put these cards in your deck. As it stands right now, that being said, new cards come out, they could get better. Okay, let's start things off. We're gonna go with Gaston Madrigal. This is a 1-cost 2/2 with 1 lore. So this guy's just a vanilla. There's really no complaints to have about him. I would probably play Stitch over him, as I would threaten Rockstar Stitch, even if I didn't even play Rockstar Stitch in my deck. Or the Queen. I think the Queen's also got a good shift target. It's just essentially like threatening those shifts that this guy doesn't do that. However, if you are playing Madrigals, then this card's obviously not a bad card, so you know he's going to be going in the B tier.
It's time to do.
Alma Madrigal. This is a 3-cost uninkable 1/3 with 2 lore. She has the effect when you play her, you put a card or you search a Madrigal from your deck and put it on top of your deck. Because there's Isabel and Bruno, the 4-cost Bruno and the 5-cost Isabel, these are both evasive characters that gain you a lot of lore. Isabel lets you quest for 4, I think, if she's questing by herself, and Bruno lets you call the top card of your deck, and then you get 3 lore if you call it correctly, and you draw that card. So because those 2 cards exist, I think this card's actually pretty good. You'll be able to search those 2 cards and they might create a deck around them. It's going to be pretty powerful, but this one in particular is not the reason those decks will be good. This will just kind of make it more consistent. I'm going to be putting it in the A tier. Ariel, a 4-cost inkable 3/3 with 2 lore. This is a Singer 7. So the problem with this card, I don't think is very good at all. It's a Singer 7, but there's no cards that you really want to sing that are 7 costs. I understand there's the new Sing Together songs, but you're going to be singing those on turn 5 regardless of if you play this card or not, because you play a 1-drop, then a 2-drop, then a 3-drop, and then a 4-drop. That puts you up to 10, and now you can sing them. Whereas, so you still have to wait till turn 5 regardless if you play this or not to sing those songs. I understand if you play like Ariel, and then maybe, well, that'd still be turn 5. I understand if you play like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a way you'd play this card, and I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to put this one in the D tier. It's still a Singer 7, maybe something. I'm sorry, I'm going to put this in the C tier. It's still Singer 7. And maybe it'll be good, but I don't see it. No, it's going in the D tier. No, it's going in the D tier. So next up we got Atlantia. This is a 1-cost inkable 2/6 location. Characters count as having +2 cost to sing songs while here. This card is absolutely horrible. So let's do the math here. We're gonna put 1 card, we're gonna pay 1 to play this location, and we're gonna pay 2 to move a character here. and then we're gonna get +2 to our song. We've already paid 3, and we're only saving ourselves 2 cost. We're not getting any lore from this thing. It's just absolutely horrible. It's going in the D tier. Bruno's Return. This is an action, 2 cost, uninkable. Return a character card from your discard pile to your hand, then remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. So taking a card from your discard pile to your hand, it's a not very good effect in these type of like Magic the Gathering tapping stuff to play things type of card games. They're just relatively too slow, right? You have to pay 2 to get the card, and then you have to pay the card's cost. So if it's something actually good, it's something maybe you can do on like turn 7, but realistically, you're not going to be playing this on turn 2, and if you draw it, you can't ink it, so you're just sad. And healing characters for 2 isn't really that relevant nowadays, so it's going to be a D tier. Cinderella, 5 cost, inkable, 1/5. Singer 9, 2 lore. Whenever this character sings a song, your other princess's characters gain +1 lore this turn. I think this card is horrible. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. This is a cool Steel Song Singer card is what they say, but what card are we singing for 9? This has got the same problem as the other Ariel. It's like, what are we singing for 7? What are we singing for 9? We're singing the far star to the left, or 2 stars to the left, or whatever, that new Draw 5 Cards song. Like, sure, we could sing that, but we could probably sing that anyways without this card, and then we have to play this on turn 5, so we're still singing that on turn 6, which it's just not that good. Maybe there's some niche like princess deck that makes this card good, but right now I don't see any song that I'm singing with this card, so I just don't think it's any good at all. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the C tier. We're going to give it C tier just in case some princess stuff that I don't see. Next up is Cogsworth. It's a 4 cost 3/3 with 1 lore. Whenever this character quests, you may give chosen character -2 attack until the start of your next turn. So is this actually good? I understand that Lorcana has created a deck that's going to be modifying strength for your opponent's characters and your own characters in order for you to play this Flynn Rider and just gain a lot of lore through that guy's effect. So that makes this semi-good, but it's a 4 cost 3/3 with only 1 lore. Like, because though that stat line is so horrible, I'm gonna say that this card is horrible. So you might play it in a very niche situation, so I'll put it in the C tier. So next up we got Daisy Duck. It's a Musketeer Spy. It's a 2/3. When you play this character, each opponent chooses and discards a card. It's got 1 lore. So this is essentially the same as the other Daisy Duck and Emerald, except that this one happens when you play it, while the other one happens every time you quest. I think the other one is better. It's got more lore, so it's got better stats. And then on top of that, happening every time that you do it, rather than just playing it, is better. I know a lot of people disagree with me. You're like, you want the thing that has impact immediately when you play it. Yes, you do, but you also want it to have impact after you play it as well. With this, once you play it, your opponent's going to discard their card that they don't care about, and then they're going to be like, okay, well, it's just a 2/3 that's questing for 1. I don't really have to deal with it. There's no pressure coming from this card. Whereas the other Daisy Duck, when you play it, it's a 2/3 with 2 lore, so it's already applying pressure by giving you that 2 lore, but then it's also making your opponent discard a card every turn. So the chances of them using a removal card on it immediately are very, very high with the Emerald one, whereas this one, they won't use a removal card on it, and they'll just discard something that's worthless. I think getting removal cards, something that baits removal cards out of your opponent's hands, very good. Something that doesn't, with low stat bodies, your opponent doesn't really care about it. If your opponent doesn't care about it, I don't care about it. So it's going to be going in the C tier. I understand that maybe if you like balance it with an Amethyst deck and keep replaying it, maybe it could be good that way, but I just don't think it's going to happen. 1 cost, Inkable Daisy Duck 1/3/1. This is just a solid 1 cost for Amber. It's got the normal stats that all the other 1 costs have. So we'll just go ahead and put it in the B tier. Playable, could be played if you want a 1/3, you'll play it. Donald Duck, Musketeer Soldier. This is a 3-cost 2/3 bodyguard. When you play this character, chosen character gets +1 lore this turn, and he's got 1 lore. You're paying 3 for a 2/3. That's kind of the problem here. I understand he's a bodyguard, and a 3-cost bodyguard is normally just a 3/3, but I think those 3-cost bodyguards that are just 3/3s are also bad, right? Because their stats are bad. You really want this to have 4 health. If this had 4 health, it would be a good card, but because it has 3 health, it's just not a good card. The effect to give something a lore when you play them, so like whatever you're blocking gets +1 lore that turn. I mean, that's essentially just goat with extra steps, right? You might as well just play the goat, and then you get the 1 lore immediately, and then when you die, you get the 2nd lore, and he's questing for 1. Whereas this, you have to have something else on the field to get that 1 extra lore, and then that thing has to quest, which makes it vulnerable. It's just not a good card. I understand that maybe like a Musketeer deck, there's something cooking there, so we're gonna give this guy a C tier, but you probably shouldn't play him. All right, Felix Madrigal. Felix Madrigal, this is a 3-cost inkable 2/4 with 2 lore. This is just completely fine. It's got fine stats. Requesting for 2. It's a vanilla. It's got the Madrigal keyword. I don't necessarily think it's crazy good. I wouldn't play it even in my Madrigal deck, but I could understand that it is not bad. So we'll just go ahead and put it in the B tier. 1-cost inkable action first aid. Remove up to 1 damage from each of your characters. So this is like a mass heal. Healing isn't good. This isn't a song, so you actually have to pay the 1. It's a D tier card. I mean, you're healing 1. Like, when is 1 going to make the difference? And the scenarios that 1 makes a difference are going to be so slim. This card is probably going to lose you the game more often than it's going to do anything. 3-cost Gaston. 3-cost uninkable. 3-cost uninkable Gaston. Despicable Dealer. This is a 2/4. You tap him, you can pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn. He's got 1 lore. So this is essentially Doc, but better. He's uninkable, which is the only thing that's really hurting him. But I think paying 2 less for the next character you play is completely fine. I think any deck that you're currently playing Doc in, you're going to be playing this guy in. You're either going to add him on top of Doc, or you're going to just replace Doc with this guy. Because playing Lady Tremaine or as a Lady Medusa, like if you play either of those 2 on turn 4, like that's going to have a massive impact. Your opponent's, it's going to be hard to recover from that, honestly. So I think this card's just really, really good. It's going to be going in the A tier. Next up, Golden Harp, Enchanter of the Land. It's a 1-cost inkable 1/4 with 2 lore. At the end of your turn, if you didn't play a song this turn, banish this character. This card's horrible. I don't know why anyone would ever play this card. It forces you to play a song every turn, which you just won't be able to do. This is just a suicidal harp. I don't understand. Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to play it. You want to drop your 1-drops on turn 1. You don't want to draw them when it's not turn 1. You just want to ink them immediately. You can't even play this on turn 1, so why would you ever play it? All right, next up we got Goofy Musketeer Swordsman. This is a 4-cost uninkable 3/4 with 2 lore. Whenever you play a character with bodyguard, ready this character, you can't quest for the rest of the turn. So this card sucks for 1. It should be inkable. I don't know why it's not. It should have better stats. I don't know why it doesn't. But I understand that Ravensburger is trying to do this thing and create a support bodyguard deck. And this would be relatively good in that deck, as you'd support your Goofy, make it swing into something with its now like 5 attack or whatever, killing whatever it has. If it has enough health to live, you play another bodyguard, ready him up, hit another thing. And then it's a relatively good play, but it's a 3-card combo, which is just not going to happen. So that's going to be a C tier. Next up, we got Juliet Madrigal. This is a 3-cost inkable 1/4 When you play this character, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. If you remove damage this way, you may draw a card. So this is just like a bad Rapunzel. If it drew you 2 cards, if you healed 2, it would be a lot better. But as a 3 cost 1/4, that's drawing you 1 card at best. Healing isn't that relevant in this game. The only reason Rapunzel is so good is because it's drawing you 3 cards. This is drawing you 1 card, not even 2. It's just bad. You probably don't even play it in a magical deck. So we'll go ahead and throw this in the D tier. Look at this family. It's a 7 cost Sing Together song. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 2 character cards and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is just a really bad way to draw 2 cards. No one plays Be Our Guest, which is, I think, a 2 cost song. So no one is going to be playing this. Just because you get one additional character doesn't make this card good. And especially at the cost of 7, I mean, playing two Be Our Guests would cost 4. And so really this song should probably cost like 5 maybe, and then maybe it'll be good, but at 7 there's no way you're playing this. So next up we got the 4 cost Inkable Lost in the Woods. This is a song. All opposing characters get -2 strength. I always forget the word for that, the damage in this game, until the start of your next turn. Alright, so all opposing characters get -2 strength until the start of your next turn. This goes in that like modifying attack power deck. However, for 4 costs, you're not playing this song. Your 4 costs are probably just doing something better that turn than singing this and paying to play this. It's just not good whatsoever. And there's some sort of like niche scenario where you're playing like this super wide aggro deck and you're like, I'm gonna tap everything, play this so you can't kill anything. Chances are your characters have like 1 health anyways, and you're gonna drop their 3 strength guys down to 1 strength, and then guess what? They can still kill your cards. So this thing is just horrible. It's gonna be a D tier. All right, next up we got the 3 cost Max Loyal Sheepdog 4/3. If you have a character named Prince Eric in play, you may pay 1 less for this character. He's got 1 lore. So this guy's actually pretty good. He's a 4/3, which is good stats for a 3 cost. So he's essentially a vanilla. He's a vanilla 3 cost. He's got the stats of a vanilla 3 cost, but then he's got the bonus effect to allow him to be played for 1 less, which just makes him good, right? You can't really complain when you've got a vanilla that has an effect. That's just good. So we're gonna go ahead and put this guy in the B tier. He could be played. All right, next up we got Mickey Mouse, leader of the band. This is a 4 cost Inkable 2/5 support, 1 lore. When you play this character, chosen character gains support this turn. So the 2/5 stat line for 4 is actually pretty solid. You can't really complain there. The fact that it's going to give something else support when it comes in kind of gives you the ability to trade fairly well. And then it has support itself, so that's not bad either. This is easy comparison to the crab in Amethyst, where you play it, it gives something +3, and then when it dies, it gives something else +3. It's kind of similar to that, not as good as that, but it's kind of in the same ballpark. Stats aren't bad. There's really nothing to complain about here. I'll give it the B tier. Mickey Mouse, Musketeer Champion. This is a 7 cost uninkable 3/6. It's got Shift 5, Bodyguard support, 2 lore. When you play this character, if you use the shift to play him, you may draw a card for each character with Bodyguard you have in play. So the problem with this card is, if you have 1 Bodyguard in play, you're drawing 2 cards. If you have 2 Bodyguards in play, you're drawing 3 cards. It's a 3/6 for 7 support Bodyguard. The Bodyguard keyword isn't that good. A support keyword isn't that good. I think in every scenario that you're gonna play this card, you would rather play Carefree Surfer Stitch. So, because that guy's gonna draw you 2 cards without all this extra, I have to shift it, I have to do all this crazy stuff. So this card's just not good. Maybe there's some crazy Musketeer deck that comes out in the future that makes this thing good, but as of right now, it's definitely C tier. All right, next up we got Minnie Mouse Musketeer Champion. This is a 5 cost uninkable 1/5 Bodyguard with 2 lore. When you play this character, banish chosen opposing character with 5 strength or more. So this card is actually pretty good. Its stat line is a little bit weaker than what you want it to be. You kind of want it to be like maybe a 3-5, a 2-5, somewhere around there. But the banishing a 5 strength character, I think you guys are going to find out that banishing a 5 strength character is going to be very relevant in this next set. Whereas with the meta so far is probably not that great of a card, but with the Flynn Rider coming out and the candle thing that gives everything more strength and all this strength modification, I think it's gonna be pretty clear that this is a good card. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in the B tier. Next up we got Marabel Madrigal. This is a 2-cost equal 2/2 with support and 1 lore. I mean, if you're playing Madrigal, I guess you're gonna play this card, but really it's got bad stats for 2-cost. Basically every 2-cost in the game is gonna kill this thing immediately. It's a C tier. Marabel Madrigal again, Gift of the Family. This is a 5-cost unequal 3/5. It's got support, 2 lore. When this character quests, your other Madrigal characters get +1 lore this turn. So this is the reason to play all those Madrigals that are kind of So, I mean, this is a solid card. So this is a 5-cost for a 3/5. That's good. It's got 2 lore, even better. It's got support, even better. And then it's got the effect that when it's going to quest, it's going to give you other Madrigals even more lore. This is just going to be a finisher. So you could go wide with Madrigals and drop this on turn 5. You probably just win the game. Solid card. We're going to give it B tier. 2-cost Inkable Miracle Candle item. Banish this item. You have 3 or more characters in play. Gain 2 lore. And remove up to 2 damage from chosen location. You're healing a location, not even a character. This card's horrible. If I have 3 or more characters in play, I get to get 2 lore. I have to have 3 characters in play to get 2 lore, and then I heal something for 2. I'm paying 2 and playing this item. This is just all around bad. It's gonna go in the D tier. Pluto, in another language. He's a 5-cost inkable 4/5 with 2 lore. His effect is when you play him, you heal something for 3. Healing something for 3 is not that great. At 5-cost, 4/5, 2 lore. They're okay stats. I would rather just play Maximus, I think. He's got support, which I think would be more relevant. I understand Maximus has 1 less lore, but I think Maximus is just a better card, and because of that, this is gonna go in the D tier. 3-cost inkable 3/3 Prince Eric. He's got a bodyguard and 1 lore. He's essentially just Hercules except for Amber, and Hercules is never played, so this guy should never be played, and we're gonna put him in the D tier. Unless some crazy bodyguard deck comes out, this guy sucks. All right, next up we got 6-cost inkable Prince Eric Ursula's Groom. It's a 5/5 with 2 lore. It's got shift 4, and when you have a character named Ursula in play, you gain bodyguard and 2 strength. So let me ask you this. Would you play a 6-cost 5/7 bodyguard with 2 lore? I wouldn't play it. There's probably very, very few scenarios I would play that card. So in the best scenario, this card still probably wouldn't be played if that under Vanessa spell was always active. So that being it's a conditional effect and not always active, I think makes it even worse. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy in the D tier. I understand a lot of people will be mad about that, but it just sucks. 2-cost inkable record player item. Whenever you play a song, chosen character gets -2 strength until the start of your next turn. Your character's name stage count as having +1 cast or +1 cost to sing a song. So it's a 2-cost item that whenever you sing, your character gets -2 strength. The only decks that are really singing a lot right now is Steel Song, and all Steel Song songs kill the characters, so you don't really need to remove strength from it. There could be something absolutely crazy where the Flynn Rider deck is so good that you need to include this in your decks just to have a chance to beat Flynn Rider, but I think there's just better cards to include. Your spell that you're playing just kills Flynn Rider. Your song that you're playing just kills Flynn Rider, so I don't know why you'd need to lose the 2 strength to something else. So yeah, this card is just horrible. It's gonna go in the D tier. Sign the Scroll. This is a 3-cost uninkable. Each opponent may choose and discard a card. For each opponent who doesn't, you gain 2 lore. This is like a bad sudden chill. It's uninkable for some reason and costs more. The only difference is you gain 2 lore if they can't discard. Gaining 2 lore, probably not relevant. The only way this card ever becomes relevant if there's like something with like do it again and all those emerald cards that let you play actions and you somehow like loop this 100 times, then maybe it becomes good. But yeah, since I don't see that happening, it's definitely a D tier card. It's not even a song. Like, all right, 2 cost, 2/3 inkable, 1 lore. This is a Stitch, a 2-cost Stitch, vanilla, that has the vanilla stat line. Honestly, solid, good thing for Rockstar Stitch. I kind of made a video about the new Rockstar Stitch deck coming out with this set, and I think you know, this is a solid card. I'll probably play this over other 2/3s to threaten Rockstar Stitch, make my opponent think a little bit differently about how they're playing, even if I'm not playing Rockstar Stitch. All right, that thing's going in the B tier. The Underworld River. Okay, so the next up we got the Underworld. It's a 2-cost location, 2 to move here, 6 willpower, I guess. I don't know what it's called with locations. Whenever a character quests while here, you may pay 3 to return a character card from your discard pile to your hand. You gain 1 lore per turn. So the gain 1 lore per turn is the only good thing about this card. You get a 2-cost with 6 health, and you gain a lore per turn. I think there's better ways to do that in the game right now. The effect you're literally never going to use, because let's do the math again. You pay 2 to play this, you pay 2 to move a character here, and then you pay 3 to get a character from your discard pile to your hand. You've paid 7 now to do this one effect, where you could pay 4 to play Hades and get a 3/2 body and do that same thing. This card's just way too expensive. It's D tier. Next up, we got Ursula's Eric's Bride. This is a 4-cost uninkable 2/4. Shift, discard a song, and then you get to play it on top of an Ursula. Whenever this character quest chosen opposing reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice, it's got 2 lore. So this card's very good. This card is insanely good. So like the Mufasa decks, their main problem is they lose to like Be Prepared and the Steel Song, like if they have a lot of songs. Well, this card is going to deal with all those. It's going to deal with Be Prepared because they can't play Be Prepared most likely by the time you've played this card. And then those Steel Songs, the only thing that can kill it is like Along Came Zeus, right? So if they don't have that, they can't answer this. You're going to be looking at their hand, discarding things. Even if they don't have something for you to force the discard, the fact that you get to see their hand, you get all that information, you know exactly what their next plays are. You'll be able to play around everything they have. This is just a game-winning card. It's very, very strong. You should probably put it in almost every Amber deck you play. You don't ever need to shift it out. 4 cost for a 2/4 with 2 lore is fine. The shift is just an added bonus if you somehow have the Ursula to shift him out. I don't know why you would, but if you do, I guess. I don't know, I probably would never shift it out. But it's just, it is a good card. It's gonna be going in the A tier. It's probably gonna make Mufasa very strong. Next up, we got a 2-cost inkable Ursula, Vanessa. This is a 1/4 singer 4 with 1 lore. So this is kind of, I guess, the shift target for the last Ursula we just looked at. But realistically, this card's pretty fucking good. I've tried so hard to not curse this entire time. Like a lot of the pauses, I'm like, I need to not curse. I'm about to curse, and I just dropped an F-bomb. It's too late. It happened. All right. Anyways, moving on with my life. So we're gonna go. This is a 2-cost that allows you to sing Along Came Zeus. Steel Song is gonna love this card. It might replace the Cinderella, honestly, because playing Cinderella turn 1 and then turn 2 playing the song that deals 2 damage, draw a card, right? Like that's kind of the good play, but you could play this turn 2 and then sing that song turn 3 anyways. That's just as good, pretty much. That loss of tempo that first turn normally isn't that big a deal if you can't do anything on that first turn, unless you're playing against some crazy aggro deck and then your turn 2 and turn 3 aren't very good either. So that being said, I think this card's pretty solid. I think there's a good chance it replaces Cinderella in Steel Song. And if not replaced, you might just play it in addition. Just being able to play along Cape and Zeus on turn 3 is very good. So we're gonna give this a B tier. And that's everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see the other colors, and thanks for watching.